see. I think the real question about this sticker is, by whoever you voted for, do you believe that that sticker will mean more or less in 4 years? And what I mean by that is, do you believe that the whoever is elected into the office of president in the year 2024 will make this vote mean more, be more legitimate, more or less legitimate in the next 4 years? It's so hard to know what you can know about this election, about many elections. I remember the first time I voted, it was on a paper ballot, and it was for George Bush. And I was 18, and my parents took both my older brother and I to vote for the first time in the courthouse, local courthouse. And what are you participating in? And I think that it's symbolic. It's such an interesting thing, especially for a presidential election, because it seems like it's in a state like Arkansas, where I'm from. The last election, 62% of the vote went to Donald Trump in the state of Arkansas. So it's, in a sense, it feels symbolic if you're voting for or against the candidate, because if you are pretty much in a fact that you know that your state's going to lose, it's really just a vote of symbol of conscience. And if you're voting for the one that's going to win, it's just related to, it's a symbol. It's a similar symbol, because likely if you didn't vote, it wouldn't make any difference. But in a way, it felt, as I was thinking more about this, like a sacrament, in the way that this transcendent thing that you see on your screens, whether it's TV news or in the palm of your hand, watching reels and YouTubes about pro or con for a presidential candidate. You're in the moment that you touch the screen or write down on the paper or whatever, however your state collects the vote, you are touching, and it's having, if you believe it, it's having this transcendent experience that we experience on these screens, and the fourth wall and all that. You're like touching it in that moment, something real. So it's very spiritual in that way. I don't know if I'm explaining that as well as maybe it could be explained, but that's kind of how it felt. It felt like this sticker that I got at the end was symbolic of something. It didn't necessarily feel like it was real. Now, local elections and local legislations, it doesn't feel as symbolic. It feels much more tangible and real in that way. But the presidential vote feels very symbolic. It almost feels sacramental in a way, where this sacred transcendent reality of the politic comes down to this moment, and that maybe sounds really heretical or something, but it's just what came out of my mind whenever I left the polls or whatever, the booths. What else do I think about it? The question that went through my brain was, will this sticker mean more or become more and more symbolic, or will it become more and more real? Because what everyone seems to be saying is, this is the vote to preserve something real, like the American Democratic Republic or democracy. And I have a video that I haven't released out that's in my membership section, where I was talking about that this vote either feels like you're trying to maintain the status quo or try to change the status quo, and that whatever that word preserve democracy or making something great again is, you're trying to shake up the status quo by preserving something, or you're trying to save or preserve something that's exists right now, or shake it up, and the status quo. And that's what it feels like on that national political level. And I don't know what's going to happen. There are people that think that not a lot will change. There's people that think that if no matter how it goes down, because of the powers that be in our institutions, that it could create a lot of chaos. And I guess we'll find out in a few days. But this vote, I thought about people who don't live in America and how popular American politics are. People that I've connected to in this YouTube space, that I wonder when Donald Trump and American politics is such a international interest, for the people that watch at a distance in other countries, I wonder what their thoughts are on what it would mean to be able to participate in that drama. People that live in the UK, or people that live in Australia, or people live in other countries, do they wish that they could, this vote that many people in the States are apathetic about, would they be like, man, no, I think it would be really exciting to be able to be a part of that process. So I thought about what this sticker represents to people that can't get that sticker, or would like to be able to get that sticker. So that was a question I had. It's the other thing that I've noticed is I've seen people post pictures of their ballot. Maybe they take a picture of it and post it on Facebook or whatever. Is how, I'm in this room of people. I live in a small town. I knew people that were, volunteering to manage the local booths, and how this big national thing, this big, national debates and what's going to be the social media viral moment, these huge things. And then you come down into this very ho-hum situation of, dot here, whatever. It's just very strange to me that is the participation, because the other participation is what we consume of the propaganda, of the facts, of all of the above. And that's another piece. Another question is, what does it mean to be an informed voter? What does that really mean? It means you have your sources, whether that's legacy media or new media. Oh, are you informed? Did you watch all 6 hours of Joe Rogan with the President Trump and Vice President candidate J.D. Vance? Did you watch all 6 hours? Because then you're informed. Or did you read the hit pieces or the integral journalism of the Times and the Post or whoever? Now you're informed. Have you watched every CNN or MSNBC or Fox, report leading up to this? Now you're informed. What the hell does it mean to be informed? Am I informed because I've listened to deeper channels, deeper rails of the internet about such things? Now I'm really informed. I think that's hard to know. And at the end of the day, you're voting a conscience. You're voting what has formed you based off of those. Are both wings of those media entities, are they both propagandistic? Is that basically what you're experiencing? Is propaganda on both sides? I think that's possible. And and I'm in between two gentlemen having a conversation on either side of my car right now. So there's a way to feel nihilistic about it. Like, does it really matter? Can I be truly informed? But at the end of the day, we can choose to make a choice that this means something, or we can say it doesn't mean as much as it really does mean, or it means more than we could ever imagine. Paul Vanderklay says, Religion is dollars and politics are cents. And though I think I agree with that in principle, I think that whenever you're in these seasons like this, like it's kind of like this Protestant like the Baptist calendar that basically, well, if every day's Easter, then no day's Easter. You know, if, like, oh, he didn't die, you know, he's not on that cross no more, so we gotta, there's a sense that there are seasons and there are days, and every 4 years it's okay to pay attention more to politics because there are choices to be made. But sometimes I think it feels like because of that intensity, or because it can be elevated to an unhealthy place, it's kind of like, well, let's just not make a bigger deal than it is. I do think that I was in the room whenever there was a young man who looked probably 18 to 20, and they said, "Are you a first-time voter?" And he said, "Yes." And they rang a bell, "Yay, first-time voter." And I looked at him and I was so curious about what was motivating this young man to come and vote by himself. And because he believes in something, because he's looking at the next 60 years of his life. And it's easy to say that politics aren't that big a deal when you don't have 60 years in front of you. So I sympathize with that. But I think the wisdom from that is somebody who's lived 60 years to say, maybe it didn't make as much difference as we thought at one time. So maybe I'm fence sitting, but symbolism happens.